All right, guys, we are live and thank you for tuning in. So, I have a special guest today. We have Ansleigh Wilk on, and Ansleigh is an MMA fighter who has been participating against trans women recently and has been speaking out and causing quite the ruckus. So, if you want to introduce yourself, give some background, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so my name's Ansleigh. I've been doing jujitsu for 8 years. I'm a brown belt, and I feel very strongly about protecting women in the sport, and that goes for both sides of
Hmm.
trans people competing, male to female and female to male. There's a safety issue.
Yeah, yeah. You were saying before we sign on, and I've always seen it the opposite way, where it's male to female. You have like Leah Thomas, Fallon Fox, all those kind of famous examples, but I've never seen the male to female example. And it kind of seems like
Yeah.
so with, I'm not super familiar with sports, but it seems like, is there no like process by like filtering people who participate, or how do we even get in these situations to start with?
Uh, I feel like jujitsu's so new and like not mainstream at all. So like there's not a lot of attention brought to it, but it's a combat sport, which is why it brings up so much controversy of like trans people competing with us.
Mm,
Because like it's obviously very dangerous, even if it's just women going against women or men going against men, but it increases the likelihood for something worse happening.
absolutely. So I saw back, you came across my timeline. I found you on TikTok. I saw us scrolling through and I saw the video of you competing against trans woman Cordelia Gregory. I hadn't heard of them before, but I saw the
Mm-hmm.
video and I saw you talking. You were really compelling. And I was like, wow, good for her speaking out. So I left a comment and not thinking you'd respond. And then did. So I was like, holy shit. Oh, awesome, because I've been like very curious about the topic, and a lot of my curiosity has to do with the fact that it feels like I can't speak about it. Like I'm feeling this like internal sense of like my thoughts aren't allowed to be spoken, and I don't know why that, or I guess I have some ideas of why that is. But how was that? Did you have that experience where you felt like you shouldn't speak out? Did you have that like hesitation there?
I mean, I was gonna say something regardless,
You're
whether it
just
be
that kind of
private or
person.
online, because I just don't think it's right. I've been an athlete my entire life, and I know if I had had to compete against boys when I did archery, I never would have won worlds.
Hmm.
I never would have been able to achieve what I achieved. So
Exactly.
to compare it to somewhere I'm fighting, it's like I know. I'm like I'm not gonna get hurt. Sure, I I was almost say compete, but I train with men, but we have this mutual understanding to not hurt each other because we're
Hmm.
training partners. We're not going 100%. We're just there to make each other better. But in competition, you're going 100%. You're trying to hurt this person.
Hmm. Exactly. So if you want, I don't know if anyone has seen the clip yet, but maybe we can watch this together. The video that I saw of you. Let me see if I can get this on the screen without issue. Share screen. Okay, oh, it's right here. Oops. There we go. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Get the gift wrap. Get the gift wrap. 1 second. Oh, hold on. Find the grip.
Dang. Wow.
Like the elbows for the push up the elbows.
I just want to pause it and say it's such a high, beyond just the fact that you're fighting, it's a very physically high contact sport. Your bodies are very much up
Yeah.
against each other. What was that like? What was that part of the experience like for you?
I mean, I wasn't thinking anything of it at the time just because
Mhm.
it's what I do. I'm, it's not. we try not to sexualize the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's like these girls that have this like wrestling porn on OnlyFans and shit, which makes it so much harder as a female that wants to display her skill and be known for her skill.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I'll get the dumbest DMs like, "Will you beat me up for money?" I'm like, no.
Oh, I'm sure. I actually
Like,
have a background.
no.
I've done the OnlyFans. I've done so the stuff. People will turn to fetish into anything. But it's very unfortunate that you are that the creeps, go out to you and are sending you stuff like that. I can only imagine.
It's weird.
Yeah, super weird.
That was a little off topic, but like, yeah, here, like, I'm not thinking about that. I'm just thinking about trying to choke someone.
Mm-hmm. And how different did it feel than like other times that you're fighting another biological woman?
Well, so since I knew this opponent was like, a lower level in belt, my plan was to go and work a different part of my game, but I immediately abandoned that because they were so much stronger than me, and I was like, all right, I panicked, and I'm like, just go back to what you always do, and this, like, what you see here is what I do pretty much every tournament other than the guard pool.
So what do you
usually either wait for my opponent.
Like non-sports person, what is the move that you're doing here?
Yeah. So I'm in half guard, which they only have one of my legs trapped. I have my right arm under the back of their head, and then I grab this sleeve and I roll the arm over their neck, and then it chokes them.
Wow. All right, let's finish.
It's called an Ezekiel choke. It's my favorite of all time.
Choke. And that was the winning move, right? Or I guess we'll see. Let me.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, I'll start to get my knee through the legs, and it'll.
Awesome. How did that feel there when you beat that? That's the first round of a couple, right?
Yeah, that was the first of two. We only had 2 matches, which I wish it was only one and I could have just went home.
Right. So when you do a competition like this, how many matches do you do throughout the competition? Is it like multiple? You go up multiple?
This was my only match.
That was your only competing against that one person.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your knowledge beforehand?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I knew this person competed against people, competed against women for a while. Because you can see their record when you register. I'm like, okay, you fought women before, and then people kept asking if I was fighting a dude, and I'm like, no, they've fought women before.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's not in my brain, and that's how it went under the radar for so long.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy. So this person, how they got into the competition was they just on like a form hit female, and then that's that, and then they showed up and no one
an online form. Yeah.
None of the people facilitating the event were like said anything.
Well, even the other girls they competed against there, like we all just thought it was, and I'm not even trying to be rude. We thought this was but there's no other way to say it. There's no other way to say it, and I don't we thought it was an ugly old woman. A 6 foot tall, ugly old woman.
I mean, it could be. Women come in all shapes and sizes, so.
But like when it has clear kind of male features, you're like, oh, okay.
Wow. So what moment did you realize?
I had to go because I was suspect, and we've been talking. I look a bunch of stuff up, and I can find just about anything in the jiu-jitsu world. I went on their Instagram to find them getting married as a man.
Wow.
In 2020. And I was like, oh,
What?
that's not that long ago.
Wait, 3
Um,
years ago?
Yeah, and
Oh
then
my
they
God.
started competing with women, I think 2 years ago.
Holy shit. Wow, that's crazy. Because actually, I was like looking up a couple studies on this because, I mean, we all know, except for some people apparently, but we all know that there are very huge biological differences between men and women. These are separated categories for a reason. Like, beyond the, competing fairness, it's that physical safety issue because men are on average up to 40% stronger in their muscle mass, which is
Right.
great. That's a crazy difference. And just physiologically, like if you look at like female versus male bodybuilders, just like the levels that they
Yeah.
can get to, it's so the way we store fat is so different. Like we can't, it's so different. But
And like you're judged differently based off of your sex. So like you'll judge a woman off of her waistline there.
mhm.
I mean, I guess you judge a man off theirs too, but like usually the wider a man is, the better.
Mhm.
And then for a woman, the more narrow the waist, they're like, okay, good bodybuilder.
Yeah. It's totally, yeah, it's totally different. But even I read there was one study from I think the British Journal of Sports Medicine. It said that they did some tests on trans women to see the differences, and even after 14 years of being on hormone suppression, they found that a lot of trans women still retained 20% average higher strength than cis females. But the fact is, we don't have a ton of studies on the topic, but everything we do have seems to all be saying that this is not fair and it's not working. you know
I don't know how it's not like the most obvious thing in the world that
well, I
like
think it was like we're like frogs in like boiling water where it like happens so like gradually. Like I know for me, I've known like a lot of trans people like all throughout my life, probably an abnormal amount, like or a disproportionate,
yeah,
abnormal,
like
like a
I know a ton of
disproportionate.
trans people.
Yeah, so it's always been like something I've been um comfortable with. Always used whatever pronouns that
Right.
people like. I was engaged to a trans person for 5 years. I was a musician. I played in 3 separate bands with people who happened to be trans. So it's so bizarre because I started seeing things in media. You started seeing people like Leah Thomas, and like internally I'd be thinking like, how is this? This doesn't make any sense. Like this doesn't seem. How is this happening? It doesn't seem right. Like, but for some reason I can't say this very obvious thing because I don't want to hurt people. So I think it was that desire not to hurt people or no one wants to be like a bigot. Like, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'm being bigoted by standing. I mean, we're women.
I
We've
think if
dealt with shit for
you
millennia.
talk to
Like we have to.
the correct trans people that are on the right side of this subject, you'll
Mhm.
see like they'll call any other trans person that is on the other side out about this. They're like, you're delusional if you think we are the same.
Yeah. I know at least like if other trans people can like call each other out. I'm surprised you don't see it more, but there is like if you look, you will see like a huge range of diversity and opinions in the trans community. That's so it just seems like in the media, like the mainstream media, like and that's been really upsetting for me over the years because I've always been like a very left-leaning person. And then over the years, like all these institutions I trusted for information, like I gradually found out were lying to me, like and I always thought like I never like was so
Right.
trusting of like huge corporations or institutions, but like it's crazy how far things have gotten. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, it's crazy that we've gotten this far. Like a month ago, I never thought I'd be in this position of like UFC fighters messaging me about their teammate having to go against a trans person. I'm like,
Wow.
it's weird for me because I have super bad social anxiety. And now I have people come
Oh,
up to me at
really?
tournaments and shake my hand and tell me thank you. And it's like it's really weird for me because I'm used to
Yeah, I
being
don't get
very
the
much in the
anxiety from you at
backgrounds and
all.
just watching my jujitsu. My
So how's
leg is
that
like
like?
you know how people bounce their leg when they get anxiety?
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
that. I do
that's
that. I'm
mine
like
right
a very
now. But like,
picky,
I can
like,
like I'm so used to just dealing with it. So I'm
mhm.
like, I can have a nice casual conversation even if I'm freaking out on the inside. Like,
Same. Same. Like before we
I
started
sent
on the inside, I was
you
like
that
freaking out. I was like,
story about the opponent, and I told you how it was affecting me, and we'll keep
mhm,
that like on the down low for now, just
mhm.
because I don't have all the info. So,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
but like my anxiety since then has been insane. It's like, ugh.
But that's so important that like you already are so like wise beyond. I'm a little bit older than you, or probably more than I'm like about 10 years older than you. A little, but you seem very wise and like beyond your years, and also just being able to feel your anxiety but still do things. It took me a long time not to just run and hide from every bad feeling, like.
Yeah,
So what's
yeah.
that like having that anxiety? And then I saw you were on like Sky News and like all these, media people and, maybe these UFC fighters, people you look up to, like, what is that attention like?
It's a lot, and it's a lot for me to process. I'm still very much processing it like daily. Uh, like the attention's cool, but I wouldn't say I necessarily like it. But I know this is a
Hmm.
subject that needs to be talked about, and I'll gladly put my mental health and my career on the line to save the integrity of women's sports.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that. And I've been talking to other women who care about this, who haven't spoken up, who wanted me to tell you that they are very, your efforts are being very much
Oh,
appreciated by
that's
all the
awesome.
people. Because all it takes is like you saw what like when Riley Gaines started like speaking out and like these other women, like you saw how quickly things can change. And that actually brings me, I wanted to talk to you about what happened with Naga, how they ended up changing their policy because of some actions that you took. If you wanted to go into that a little bit.
Yeah, so Redux or Icons reached out to me first, and they said, we work with an article. Would you like to speak about your experience about this? So on and so forth. And then it blew up. And then 21 hours after the article was released, they completely changed the policy.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised. Like, I'll be surprised. I won't be surprised actually if I sign up for a Naga event and they're like, "No, you brought too much bullshit to
Right.
our company."
But
They're
that's
like,
the
"You
thing that's
almost got to
really
shut
like, but you have like some
down."
powerful, like people on your side, and that should hopefully work to your advantage and like scare them a
Yeah,
little bit because there is that power in numbers, and it's like, yeah, there's like a
yeah.
strong
I
force
can
coming from
hope.
like, the activists, but there's also that like
Yeah.
counter,
Right,
crazy.
right. I think it's just, just that fear in the back of my head because I do love to compete. And then more than anything, I'm afraid that I'll just be barred from going to the competitions in general because I do coach people. And I'm typically the only coach that goes out to the jiu-jitsu tournaments. So I feel like I don't want to abandon my team.
Gosh, that would be, I mean, I really, really hope that doesn't happen to you, and I'll be, speaking out for you if it
Oh
does.
yeah,
And for a
if
lot
it
of other
does, then
people.
it'll be a big deal. I just hope
Huge
it
deal.
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're still trying to help April lift her ban, and
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
did you
know.
want to talk about that a little bit too? This
April
who is this?
Hutchinson, yeah,
Hutchinson.
and I think it's Anne Andres or Annie Andres is the trans competitor that's just like smashing records. So April went on Pierce Morgan and said she shouldn't have to compete against a biological male. That blew up. She got banned for 2 years. And then
Wow.
actually she just got her exhibit from the London, Ontario Museum just got removed because of all of this.
Wow, that's
Yeah, so that's why people
crazy.
are afraid to speak up,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the things you worked so hard for will be stripped
Mhm.
away from you. I don't know why I'm willing to risk it. I just am. Like, I struggle with a lot of mental health issues, but helping other people helps me deal with that. So if this is something I
Exactly.
can do to help other people and help myself, then so be it.
Yep. And I think that's really awesome. You're kind of like me. I'm very like when I meet people, I'm very upfront and honest about my experiences. And that is for me like a coping mechanism to just let people know who I am, what I experience right off the bat.
Yeah.
So they
I
know like what to expect, or I don't
right.
know.
I trauma dump a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Or so because I know people like to hear, it makes other people feel less alone.
Right.
So I do the same
Yeah, I
thing.
made like a really long post. I don't know. I think I posted it on Twitter too, but I posted on my Facebook and Instagram, and it was just a really long post about my MDD, which, if people don't know, is major depressive disorder.
Mhm.
So I got diagnosed with that in 2017. I was put on general depression medicine by the time I was 12. So I've been
Wow.
dealing with it for over a decade. Uh, but last Monday I woke up and I was just like a mess. I
Mhm.
was crying in work for no reason.
Oh my
And
God, I've been
then
there. Waiting tables with the tears streaming down my face.
And I just
Oh
work
my
at the
God.
gym. I work at the gym that I train at. So like, it's all these people I know, and like I know they're gonna ask me what's wrong, and I'm like, that's just gonna
Oh
make it
God.
worse because I
Right.
don't know
Sometimes you
what's
don't want to
wrong.
open the door, so you just got to keep it blank so that you can deal with it. I don't I can talk about my feelings, but I'm not good at like talking about my feelings while I'm feeling them. I like to
Because I'll just
feel
start
like
crying and be
yes.
hysterical. There's nothing I can do about it.
Me
Like,
too. And then I can't talk anyway, so it's like what
I'm
like
like, just text me about the issue. I
yes.
can get it out that way. I'm like, but
Yeah.
if I'm face to face, I'm just gonna be like, I'm sorry.
Mhm. Exactly, exactly. Well, I've seen you've been, very composed, all things considered. And have you gotten like a lot of backlash from like the trans community at all, or
Yeah.
how has that reception been?
Um,
Dare I ask?
there at some point, like, it just like stripped my ego, and I
Wow.
just started laughing at how ridiculous the comments were.
Hmm.
At some point I got called racist for using the term spirit animal, and I was like, what? Some of the comments never been so confused in my life. One
Oh
of my
my goodness.
buddies took me out to a dinner because I was like, I haven't eaten in like 3 days because this shit blew up, and there's a bunch of trans people telling me they hope I burn in a fire. And
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, I just want to not get hurt.
Right? Just for that's crazy. Like
Jesus.
I wonder why that is, 'cause I don't feel like that's what also is interesting to me. I feel like we don't see the same level of vitriol necessarily with other movements. It just gets so escalated so quickly, it seems. Like when I try to talk to a lot of people online, like especially I've been in between jobs lately. So I've been online like all the time, like, and I talk to a lot of people and I'll like reach out to trans people. And sometimes it seems like no matter how delicately I phrase my opinions, no matter how much throat clearing I do, that like I have trans friends, I love trans people, I don't hate trans people, whatever comes out of my mouth,
It gets
like
twisted.
it gets twisted, and it's just like my intentions are questioned, and they'll just create a whole storyline about who I am, and I'm this monster, and I'm like,
And they have
it's
no idea who you are, what you do for people, or like,
yeah,
if so,
exactly.
I'm like, you're telling the person who goes out of their way and doesn't get paid to go travel to these tournaments to help other people. Like, I don't get paid to go coach my team on a weekend. I do that because I love my team.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I get paid for my classes that I teach, but I don't get paid to go and spend the 12 hours at the tournament and running from mat to mat. Like, that's because I love my team. And they're going to be like, I've heard some crazy shit. I just think about like how the left tries to twist shit. And I don't even mean like just the left, just people in general, but like the left in particular. My dad told one of his friends who is very far on the left that we found this man on a lawnmower in his yard, completely unresponsive. And we called the ambulance. My dad's an EMT, so we sat there and, you know, I called the cops. My brother went and got his wife and his son. And my dad told this person that, and her response, nothing else was, I bet you wouldn't do that if he was black.
Are you serious?
Like, we just saved someone's life.
They'll like insert that like in situations that have nothing to do with it. Like, and I think
it's because my dad's conservative.
Yeah. A lot of I used to believe that conservatives were like either evil or stupid. Like I used to have such a like immature black and white mindset.
But
yeah, true.
I'm so very middle ground. I don't know a lot about politics, so like I keep my mouth shut. I know about sports.
That makes you smarter than 90% of people, honestly.
So the only thing I pay attention in politics is like that, because it affects sports and like laws that govern sports. But I also pay attention to the behavior of just the left and the right. I don't pay attention to what like. I'm just looking at your general behavior and how you treat people, and if you can have a civil conversation of your differences, not screaming, you're right, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. And if you can't have a civil conversation, you're just going to be screaming, and whoever yells the loudest wins.
That's how that's how it is like on Twitter or X or whatever. Like the algorithm, you know, unfortunately pushes people like that. And if you aren't into that, but I do think there is a demand. You do see, I do think there is a large quantity of people who are like really sick of like the just fighting, the, you know, just not productive, getting nowhere, like back and forth tribalism. It's, you know I'm at a point where I feel like I just want to converse with people and try to get to like more common ground and understanding, and I want to just understand more. I've accepted that, you know, I, as a person, have fucked up my life. I have no good ideas for anyone else. I mean, like, maybe a couple here and there by accident, but like, I used to think I had things figured out, and now, like you, I've accepted, like, you know, maybe I'm not the expert on every topic.
Like, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing.
Yeah, but I think it's okay to go into topics
winging it every day.
Exactly. So, tell me, what is next for you? What is your focus right now? And I don't want to say your activism. Do you think of yourself as like an activist now, or are you just someone who's just
I mean, I guess I am. like I'm trying to.
In a way, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, you're out here, you're speaking, you're enacting change. Like, you didn't ask to be in this position, and maybe you probably would prefer not to be in this position at all.
Yeah, but like, now I'm here, and there's no turning back.
Exactly.
So, like I think I sent you the stuff about the trans female to male that's dominating the divisions.
Yeah. Let's look at.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Okay, let me play this clip you sent me. So, what's the name of this person? This is
Jason Foster.
Jason Foster. And so this is interesting because this is let me pull it up on the screen real quick. This is a female to male trans person?
Yes. I'm pretty sure they've like already been through surgery and all that. But like they're clearly on T.
Okay, let me share screen. Sorry, a bunch of tabs open.
Which I don't understand why, other than the rule of you have to register as your assigned sex, but I don't understand how they couldn't sneak into the divisions like trans male to female did. Like, y'all couldn't just go sneak in the men's division? Or are you just really that keen on taking over the women's division?
All right. I mean, I think that a part of it was like maybe I think, I don't know, never mind. I don't want to get too into anything crazy. Hard not to. And my mind's going, but I want to be sensitive to we don't have to talk about everything.
Yeah.
My friend tells me I'm a loud mouth because I like blurt stuff out. So I'm like trying not to do that. All right, let me see. I'm trying to get this tab open, but I'm not very tech savvy. Share screen. Come on, man. Okay, I got it. We got this.
Yeah, this shit is ridiculous. I mean, just look at the still shot. Look how confused she was. Look at this shit. Look how confused.
I thought,
This.
So what did you see in that look? You think it's just absolute confusion? Like, what is going on?
You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the text because I conversed with that girl.
The woman who is competing against Jason.
Yes.
Because that seems absolutely crazy. Because it's like, okay, I get it. Like, technically, for going by biological sex, you would want the female to male. You'd want the female to male. Oh, God, hurt. You want the female to male in the female participating with the females. But the issue is if they're taking testosterone, that's doping. And
yeah, so like I have the worlds up right here. The first, all right, so here's the original page. You see worlds. Let me turn my brightness down a little bit. And then right here we have where it says the US I know you can't read it, but it's the US Doping Agency. So clearly you're not allowed to do any of the banned substance list that USADA gives you. And I have a screenshot and testosterone circled.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone, I've actually been curious as someone who has like had a lot of addiction issues. I've been like curious, like, I wonder what it's like to just take some testosterone. Like maybe you get like a little boost. Like a lot of people who like transition, they say they feel like this energy and it changes so much of how they
They're probably taking a fucking shot of test in the goddamn bathroom before they go out.
I mean, if they're not checking for that, and if you are someone who doesn't care about cheating, which unfortunately,
it's like letting someone do a line of cocaine before you go into fight. Like, you don't allow that. And that also
creates the same kind of issue you face, you know, with males to females. It's like they're changing their body to be more male-like, so that creates a whole other. They're gonna be stronger. Like,
it's literally just doping.
It is. Sorry, look at my Diet Coke real quick. I'm so thirsty. Cheers, baby.
I've got my Coke too.
I saw you and I was like, I gotta get mine, man. I got that. I would love to drink regular Coke, but I drink so much soda that it would be.
Yeah, I'm the worst about it. It's pretty much my my calorie source right now because I haven't been able to eat much because of my anxiety.
Really?
I'm just drinking a bunch of soda.
Yeah, get the calories as you can, man. You know, you got to keep
like soda and fucking Lay's chips all week.
Really? I've been there where I like am so like, you know, in whatever depressive episode I'm having, where I literally am only eating just like gummies because I'm just like, I need calories. I can't even process cooking. I can't even process like going downstairs to pick up takeout. Like, you know. Ugh. But you got to keep the calories coming, you know, especially you're an athlete.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Cause like that's what I had before I went to training, and I was at the gym for 3 fucking hours, and I was actually cross training at a different gym. So it was a lot of like one-on-one training, just trying to game plan for next week. Which would be crazy if I won worlds in this mental state, and I'm over here. I'm like, yeah, I've only had. Coca-Cola and Lay's chips, baby.
Hey, well, if you're
I'm
running,
gonna come back
maybe
and
that
screen
extra
record this.
the adrenaline could maybe, that you get. I don't know. I that sounds incredibly stressful. So
I'm
you have
just
a big.
hoping for the best at this point.
So when is your next tournament? It's next
The
week, you said?
7th.
The 7th?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Yeah, the 7th. So next Thursday.
damn, that is coming up. So in the tournament, so I probably should learn more about sports business interview, but so NAGA is the National Association of Grappling Association.
North American Grappling
Oh,
Association.
that makes more sense. Okay, so do you feel
it doesn't make sense because they have tournaments in like fucking Germany?
Oh, really?
Like, what do you mean North American?
They're like worldwide kind of.
Yeah.
So do you kind of feel like do you use MMA and like fighting? Is that like something that's helped you like with your anxiety? And do you kind of feel like your space is being like you had this space for you that was like so healthy and like productive, and you have this passion? Do you feel kind of like that's being fucked with?
Yeah, because something I've always explained, as someone, I've always had social anxiety. Even when I did archery, I was like, the archery course is the only place I don't have anxiety. It's the only place I feel safe and comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the same thing with the mats, even though we're trying to hurt each other. I don't really have the same anxiety I do in the real world. Like, sure, I have like that adrenaline going, but it's just, it's a fun thing. It's not.
Yeah, it puts you in your body, I'd imagine. Like,
yeah, it's not a fight
out
for
of your
life.
mind. Like,
yeah, it's a play fight. I mean, not a play fight, but
let's fight where
a refereed fight where I feel safe and I can display my skill and express a lot of my past life. Like, I've lived through a lot of trauma, and I didn't feel like archery was letting me get my anger out or my sadness or whatever, because I'll be in the middle of practice, and if I start having a mental breakdown, I will cry punching you in the face. Like, I'm weird.
I appreciate that, because I'm really weird too. People are
I think that's my biggest thing of like going viral is I'm just gonna be as honest as possible about who I am.
Exactly. I feel like that is like, I was honestly a little scared about this stream because I've tried to keep my YouTube persona just totally separate from my real life. Like, I have like one friend who's watching, and I've like none of my friends are allowed to know, because I don't want to feel self-conscious. I like being anonymous online, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole kind of like a separate thing for me, but I still get like anxiety, and I was anxious about like, if my trans friends did see it, are they gonna, I know some of them for sure, just by me saying that I don't think biological men should compete in women's sports, just by saying that, I would be labeled a TERF. I'm sure I'd be unfriended, and I'm sure there would be a campaign of multiple people working together to like make sure other people unfriend me, because I've seen this play out in my social circles where someone is canceled like on a micro level, and like there's just people who like enforce it socially, and then they are shunned from the community. So that's always been something I was like, oh, fuck that. What if that happens to me? I better not say anything or do anything. But like, I think being honest, like, and for me, like in my sobriety, like being honest is such a big part of that, and being able to express myself and what I truly think and things that are weighing on my heart. And this is a topic that has been weighing on my mind and heart for a while, know, and I don't talk about it that much because, well, I'm worried of being wrong. What if I'm just wrong? Like, what if I'm missing something?
Yeah, but
somehow?
you can't figure out if you're wrong or not if you don't talk about it. You have to learn. Sometimes you have to be wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, all right, maybe it's okay. It should be okay to be wrong. And
yeah, I think the issue is people not forgiving something, like something so stupid, because some people are actually trying to learn. And then when you get angry at those people, they're going to say, fuck it, I'm not on your side. Because like, I'm getting to that point, but I'm not there because I have trans friends that keep me level. They're like, we're not all like this. Like,
Yeah, that's so
when people
important.
try to call me a fucking TERF or homophobic or transphobic, I'm like, I was literally the maid of honor at a drag queen gay wedding.
Right?
What the fuck are y'all talking about? I'm like, I grew up with this kid my entire life. I'm the one who fucking, like, I was like, do you think maybe you're into cross-dressing? Like, I can tell you like makeup. Like, you love digging through my stuff. I'm like, I was the person that accepted him.
Yeah. So does that hurt you?
Weird.
Like, does it hurt your feelings, or are you like getting immune to it now where it just doesn't even mean anything to you?
I feel like it just pisses me off. I'm like, I'm getting immune to it. I'm just like, you fucking idiots. I'm like, y'all clearly just don't know me, and all you want to do is spread and not listen to my side of the story. All you want to do is look at the video and be like, she won. Why does she have a problem with it? I'm like,
yeah,
you
exactly.
didn't watch the video because I said this was for the other women who are scared to fucking talk about it.
The people who withdraw and you don't even know, or the little girls who are in the audience and watching are like, oh, I couldn't do that. You know, it's like there's such a ripple effect from these actions that are impacting people. Like,
I can't speak. The world is so weird right now.
Well, I think the internet made everyone crazy. That's what I think.
Dude, whenever I have kids, they're getting flip phones, no internet.
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh gosh.
I'm like, I know how I was on the internet from like 10 up. No fucking way. No way. I'm like, I discovered Omegle at 10. No way.
Yeah, dude, I was on the sites being weird as hell. Like, I mean, and I grew up
like anyone who knows. If you were old enough to be on the, well, you probably shouldn't have been on the internet, but you were on the internet anyways. Yeah. You probably saw some fucked up shit, and it probably changed you for the worse. But here we are.
Yep, here we are. I mean,
like,
I think
the internet probably groomed you, but
for sure. I mean, that's what I think. It contributes to so much of the mental health issues, and there is the flip side where it also helps, because I know for me, and the reason I like posting like so honestly about my life, I have videos just kind of talking about everything all over my channel's all over the place. I wasn't making content for 3 years, and then I got clean. It just started again maybe like a month ago, so it's still getting back into it and kind of figuring out like what my message is, you know. But I like to just lay it all out there,
right? Just covering all the bases.
Yeah, well, I used to look up when I was like feeling alone or like psychotic or like was going through something. I'd Google it. I'd Google everything and then find maybe there's a video of someone else talking, and I'd just listen to it, just hearing them describe their experience, like, and knowing like, oh, that's
being able to relate.
Like, and that just gets me through those moments. So it's like, I'm not anti-internet. I think it's just powerful. Like, it's a very powerful tool.
Right. It just has to be very monitored.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially like with young kids and stuff. So you said you have like trans friends. What are your views like when someone says something like trans women are women? What do you think of like that statement? What is that?
My friends don't agree with that statement.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like a lot. I'll take y'all. I'm like, we're not saying that you're less than us. We're just saying you're not the same as us. It's like, you're not less than, you're just not the same.
Yeah, and that should be, I know, it's like, and then they're like, oh, separate but equal. And it's like, well,
fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like triggering you. I've heard these things too, so it's so annoying because it's so just not.
No, because someone said that, and I commented. I said, Jesus Christ, don't come at me with that separate but equal shit, because it's not the same.
Yeah, it's so not the same.
I'm like,
it's so like people use such.
Like, I'll say some controversial shit. I'm like, they were born black. You weren't born this way. You chose this. I don't care.
Yeah.
You chose to go through the surgeries. It's a choice. Like, I'm like, your mental mindset might not be a choice. but everything else was.
Mm-hmm.
So don't come to me with that separate but equal shit.
I know.
Like, and then people call me racist, and I'm like, you're telling the girl who hasn't dated someone white, and I don't even mean I just date black dudes. I mean, I just don't. Well, I don't not date white guys, but I haven't in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, y'all. I'm like, and what? Like, I went to one of my exes, and I'm like, did you hear? I'm racist. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's lost. Like, now, I used to like know what that word meant, but now it's used in such a way that I just can't take it at face value anymore. Like, these words like racist, sexist, like they used to mean something, and now they've been used so much it's lost the oomph. It really lost that.
I'm like, it's just. I know I've said it's so confusing about 6 million times, but it's so confusing. And I'm just like, I'm trying to learn.
It's gotta be so interesting. You're just plopped into this like world, like
yo, I wasn't ready.
Well, you've been handling it, I think, very well. Even if you have those harder moments, like what matters is that you're strong. You have that like fighter spirit.
I can pull it together for like podcasts and shit, but like behind the scenes, I wake up and dry heave every morning. Like, I'm hardly in my weight bracket. Like, I'm on the low side. I'm almost in the weight division below me at this point. And I'm like, Dad, just go buy me a burger so I can attempt to shove it down my throat. Like, like, I gotta stay on weight. I'm like, I don't care if I get my ass whooped, just show up. Be the person that just shows up every time. Be the dependable opponent, even if you get your ass whooped.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell your parents, do you get like a lot of, did your parents give you that kind of, where do you get your wisdom from? Like, or does that come just from your experiences or like?
Trauma.
Got it. That'll do it, because you have a lot of wisdom that I know for me, like when I was your age, I didn't have these strong, like, I mean, I thought I've always had like values, but I cared about partying. I cared about being cool and playing shows, and like, my values were so juvenile, and I just think that's such an important thing.
Well, I feel like I got everything like party wise out of the way so early. Because you know, my mom dealt with addiction for a really long time. She's a year clean.
That's fucking awesome. That's huge. That first year is
a little over a year. So October, I'll say 4th. That's all the whole other story. We can actually dive into that whole story. Like, I can make a whole podcast about that story.
Yeah, I would love to talk to you more about like mental health and all that, because that's my big passion. And I think it's all interconnected. Like, all these issues are connected, and mental health has so much to do with why we're having such a bad quality conversation, is because so many people are suffering and angry and confused.
Right.
Like, you say, they're confused. Like,
and then we had the whole
fucking pandemic that just.
Oh, Jesus, man. I've fucked up so many people.
It fucked up
everyone.
Like, the farther away that we get from it, the more I'm like, what the fuck did I just live through? Like, because I personally
and then we all got out.
Yeah. And it's like
everyone lost their goddamn minds.
Mm-hmm.
The world is insane.
So how long have you been fighting? How was that impacted by COVID? Was that like
jiu-jitsu people are crazy. We would just end up, because we almost all of us have our own mats at home. Mm-hmm. So we just go to each other's house and still train. We're like, we don't care. I'm like, we're gonna get it. Fuck it.
I'm up in the Northeast, so it was a very different vibe.
Yeah, the South.
It was like, if you don't wear a mask, you're a fucking murderer. Like, it was so. It got. In my friend group, it was interesting. Everyone got, I had a couple friends who were so far left that they were anti-vax. Like, you see that on the far right and the far left, you know, like, and all that shit.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah,
I didn't know there was an anti-vax on the far left.
Oh
I didn't
yeah.
know that was
They won't
a
even do. They
thing.
won't do measles vaccines. They won't do like any of the like
Oh,
trusted.
oh,
You know.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
that's what you
So
mean. You
it,
mean
it
like
carries on that
period.
they won't. They'd be freaked out by, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well. I mean, those vaccines have been fucking tested for years and years and
Yeah,
years.
very different.
Then they're
very
like,
different.
take this shit.
I know.
I'm like, no.
And I still got COVID like 8 times after, and I stopped getting the boosters, and everyone kept saying
I've had
like,
it 7 times. I've never met anyone who's had it as much as me.
7 times. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's probably not as bad each time if you've like gotten it enough times, right?
They were different every single time.
Really, like the experience of it was
Like
different.
the symptoms. One of them, I was very much convinced I was going to because my stomach cramps were so bad.
Damn. Yeah, I've had it a couple times. It wasn't like that,
Yeah, it was
that intense, you know.
Yeah,
Oh,
2 or 3 of them
ask
were rough,
you-
and then like the rest of them were just more like sinusy.
Yeah, it just feels like normal sick now. I want to ask you. I'm curious. Do you identify as a feminist, or
I don't know.
how do you feel? Has anyone? Because people are probably calling you a TERF, which is a type of feminist, which is so funny. The term has gotten disconnected from anything.
Yeah, yeah. It's called a radical
Like you're fighting
feminist,
for
which
like
is
women's
hilarious.
rights. Do you feel like a part of that?
I'm like,
movement,
yeah,
or
but I want the
do you not
women that are
relate?
on roids out of here too. I'm like, so you can't call me a fucking feminist. I'm just a straight shooter. I'm like, I'm gonna say what I think is wrong, and if people get mad, that's on them.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the best way to go. I used to very like heavily identify as a feminist, and like gradually, especially like the mainstream feminism, it just doesn't represent my beliefs at all. Nothing, like I'm not feeling any, like it just, so part of me is like, maybe I'm not gonna use that word that much, you know, I don't know, but it's so loaded, and it doesn't really matter because everyone's an individual. It just, it sucks. You'll be labeled these things anyway, you know.
I think
so
I've
it's
been
always
seeing some people. Yeah, I think I've been seeing people use the word humanist. So
I can get with that.
I like that word, but I don't really know. I haven't looked up the definition, so I'm not going to call myself that. But the word seemed like it might run with my my morals and outlook on life.
Yeah. That sounds about right. And you said politically you're kind of like a in between, kind of like moderate.
Yeah. Like I've never voted. Actually, I kind of want to talk about this story. I was on Tinder and this guy asked me about mask and vaccine, and I think I just said wash your hands. And he says, I'm gonna delete you. You sound like you voted for Trump. And I was like, I didn't vote at all, but all right. I was like, okay, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So people are so like hair trigger, like temper about it. Like,
I was like, all right, Raj, fucking get your panties out of a wad.
That's crazy.
I hope he sees this one day, so he just remembers sending that message. Be like,
right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you pull it up. So is do you plan on doing like any kind of content creation, or do you just kind of enjoy or going on and talking to different people and then stepping back?
Me and my buddy were talking about doing a podcast called The Common Ground and Pound, because I mean, he kind of used to consider himself far left, and then like the more me and him talk, we're just like, yeah, you're not as far left as you think.
Maybe I should talk to them. Sounds like me.
Yeah, like we should all do a podcast together because he's super cool. Like I think it's just based off of like the sports matter and like stuff that comes to kids and shit. So like that's pretty much it. And we're just like, I think we can make a good podcast on like finding a common middle ground, but some people hate that shit, that like a left and a right person work together and they're like, but you have totally different views. I'm like, that doesn't mean we can't be fucking friends.
That's so absurd. Like, and it's like people, what they really think, and I've been friends with a lot of people on the left, is they view it like if you accept any conservative view, like you are secretly, like you're not telling the truth about what you really believe. It's all just like a cover so that you can like secretly just be like a racist, and like it's so cartoonish. And the fact is, the way that America works is that the left and right have to work together literally to get laws passed. Like, and that tension of the left and right is that's just how it works in America. So I can't think of anything that's better than, like
I wish people would just like fucking vote libertarian. We don't just have red and blue, y'all.
Yeah, it's so scary. I've never voted for a third party. I always voted Democrat, and then I haven't voted in like the last I voted like in the presidential elections, but I haven't voted any local things lately. I mean, I guess in local you could get a third party candidate, but it's unfortunate that we're so like locked in this two-party system, because it doesn't seem to represent anyone really. Like, it's just totally corrupt.
I mean, at least we get good memes.
That's true. That's true. And sometimes it's entertaining.
Fucking Biden falling off a bike and whatever absurd shit Trump has to say.
I can't even watch like Biden like give speeches. It's so cringeworthy to me. He just seems so. I literally can't. I just had to stop following all that stuff. Like, I focus on the issues I'm interested in right now, and like I'm just gonna try to communicate with people and try to make things happen. And like in my personal, like outside of the internet, I have like my own activism and things that are important to me in life. But I'm still scared of the day that like all my personas come together, because I have been like mildly doxxed before, but I'm not big enough that anyone cared. But I had like a chatter come into like my chat, and they just typed out like my full name, and like they mentioned like my brother who had passed away, and were making comments about him that were like really like horrible. That's how dark people are online. Like, nothing's off limits. Like, and that's scary.
I wait for the day someone does that, because I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, mention my family.
That's what fucks me up, because it's so
like, if y'all thought I was crazy before.
Right. It's such a violation. It's so unnecessary. It's like, for what? Like, where is this hostility coming from?
Because I'll go back and do the same shit. Like, I'll find you.
Right.
Like, I will redox you.
Right. That'd be so satisfying to redox someone. But has that been a concern for you? Like your safety and like getting doxxed and everything?
I mean, I got one person that like sent me a hate message, and it literally said, "You disgusting slimy person, I hope you die in a fire." And I'm like, Jesus Christ, someone's gonna come set my fucking house on fire.
Oh my gosh, that is so scary.
And someone said something about grifting. I'm like, I haven't fucking made money, first of all.
That's the funny. It's like, what grift would it be? Like, and because I've even gotten that accusation. It's like, what? Like, I'm not even fully monetized. I made like nothing. Like, there's the grift would be doing the opposite.
I think I made $30.
Yeah, right. Like, it's really hard to make money
right,
on YouTube. Like, are you, even if you're like monetized and get those like ad views,
like, especially with the shit that we talk about.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know. I was even worried about like
I'm pretty sure like half of the shit that I've done is probably demonetized.
Yeah, I get demonetized all the time because I talk about like addiction. I've had several videos taken down, which I found very annoying, because it's like accusing me of promoting drugs by talking about how I recovered from my addiction. Like, I have a strike on my channel right now.
Telling people to not do them.
Yeah, and like having conversations, like all the comments were people like supporting each other and like sobriety. And it was so positive. And then video taken down, strike on my channel. And it's like, if you get enough strikes, that's it, you know? Like, it's
ridiculous.
It's really scary.
You can't fucking talk about anything.
Yeah. But I think I do think things are changing a little bit. I mean, you saw like once Elon bought Twitter, there was kind of like a change in like not being as afraid to like speak there. You know, it seems like they aren't banning people as much as they were. YouTube is still really like just total Wild West in how they enforce their terms of service. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah. There's so much shit that like you see online that gets monetized, and you're like, how the fuck did mine get demonetized but not this?
Great. There'll be like people like praising Hamas and being like pro-terrorist, like, and then that like video is like totally fine. Like, you know, supporting terrorism is totally fine, but
I know I'd be seeing videos of like kids blown up and shit, and I'm like, I can't get I can't get a goddamn trauma or trigger warning before you fucking show me this.
I've seen so many videos of just people like dying, and I've looked it up a couple times just out of morbid curiosity, and I wish I hadn't. Like, I don't even know why I did. Like, but it's now on Twitter. I do feel like I just come across like just death fit. Like, it'll be like cute puppy, political opinion, death video, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's how Facebook is. Like, I'll be scrolling through Facebook and I'll just be seeing motherfuckers get shot or stabbed, and I'm like, no warning, no like sensitive content. Steve, why?
Our brains are like not designed to see that stuff, because it's like, in a way, it's like a little trauma each time. Like, scary shit. Scary world we live in, man. Like,
it is.
So is there any other kind of like messages or like topics you wanted to go over?
I think we pretty much covered everything. Like, I pretty much just want to tell the women, if you know your opponent's trans, male or female, whichever way they're transitioned, don't compete against them if they're in the women's division. Just don't do it. I know we got Worlds coming up, and there's one signed up for Worlds because they have a female ID. And I don't want to tell these girls to step off the plate at Worlds. Because it's Worlds, you've spent $200 on your registration, you've spent $1,500 to $2,000 to get there, and you know you got to get your coaches there, and you know you've done your whole camp, and now you have to go against a cheater.
So unfair, but I think it's really awesome what you're doing, and I think it's so powerful when just a couple women speak out. I feel like I'm seeing, like, I used to see nothing. I used to see not a word of like opposition, but I feel like I'm seeing it more and more. And I feel like more people are willing to have those difficult conversations in a way that's productive and cordial. And I see you as like a player in that game, which is why I was interested, because I saw you on another smaller channel of a trans woman, a conservative trans woman. I forgot her name.
Jessica.
She's on Jubilant. What's her name?
Jessica.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love her. I love, you know, that you'll talk to people of all sides, because not everyone does that. And I think that's going to be a really critical part about advancing and coming to like some kind of positive solution that works for everyone.
So. Like we talked about open divisions, or what I suggested was having a trans open division, which would be a trans person can sign up, and then if a woman wants an extra division, they can go and sign up for that one as well. So you can also have an inclusive bracket. The issue is that some trans people are still going to try and sneak into the women's division because they pass. And then they'll still give the separate but equal argument, and then the trans women are women argument. We're trying to be inclusive, but they aren't allowing us.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we got to work together, because it's like women as a group, we have interests that are valid. Trans people as a group have interests that are valid. One is not like, you can't just automatically put trans women's interests in every situation all the time. And, unfortunately, we have to speak up for ourselves and stand up for ourselves. All throughout history, women have been stomped on. This is just what we have to do. And it's because of women like you that things change and, younger women get opportunities that they might not have had. So I really do appreciate what you're doing. And thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed talking.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and I'd love to do another stream anytime about various topics we have in common.
Yeah,
so
we can do a mental health one next time.
Hell yeah,
I know for sure we can make a long one on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right, thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Right, so I'm gonna hit end stream and bye chat. And